signal do you think this will send to the electorate, though? You're a major political party. A by-election is called and you're sitting this one out. This is not like 1983.
No, this is saying to our persons that we're getting ready. After I finish speaking with you, I'm going into a campaign committee meeting. We are busy preparing for a general election, which is due. We are of the opinion that when the report comes out and the Prime Minister, that will put further pressure on him. When his Integrity Commission report comes out, when the report comes out and the illicit aid will put further pressure on the government. I've already listed some of the things that has the government under pressure and seen as underperforming. And so we think that a general election really should be what the Prime Minister calls, if he calls anything. Let us be mindful of something, that the vacancy in Northeast Centre was engineered. It is a doing of the Jamaica Labour Party. There's a vacancy that has been there in South Trelawney for over a year. You engineer, orchestrate a vacancy in Northeast and call the by-election the next day, while still not calling the by-election in South Trelawney, which has been without representation for over a year. That's politics, right?
There are many things to take note of that came out of that 1 minute 8 second clip of an interview that was done with Dayton Campbell by TVJ recently. And you will hear my views, of course, on them shortly. But in the meantime, please let me first welcome you to Jamaica 411. Thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to give the video a thumbs up, as well as share, subscribe, and leave your comments in the comments section. I want to thank all of you who have supported this channel thus far. I want to give my subscribers especially a special big up yourself, yes. And thank you so much for always tuning in to Jamaica 411. So, what are all the points that came out of that 1 minute clip? You see how many words and how many thoughts you can get out in 1 minute? First, he spoke about the election, general election, which is due. And I would like to correct him. I'm sure it was a slip of the tongue. But for your information, a general election is constitutionally due on the 5th anniversary of the first sitting of Parliament after the conclusion of a general election. So the election was held in 2020, September 3. After the counts was over, the Prime Minister and his ministers would have been sworn in. Sometime thereafter, you would have had the first sitting of the Parliament, the new Parliament. That is whatever date that was in September. That is the date. It is due next year, 2025. All right, you understand that? So it's not yet due. We are 1 year away. The next point he made was about the outcome of the Integrity Commission report. They seem to be quite confident that they know what the new report entails, even though they are not privy to that information. The report went to the Parliament, to the clerks of both houses, to the Speaker, the President of the Senate, as well as the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. So where did Dayton Campbell and Julian Robinson get the idea from that the Integrity Commission's report submitted to the Parliament on September 5, 2024 has anything at all to do with Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister, and the illicit aid? Is it that they're just running their mouths? Or is it that they got inside information from the Integrity Commission, allowing them to be able to make these comments in the public so confidently that they are sure that they will not be proven wrong? Because, you see, if they are not proven wrong, you see, if come Tuesday, the report is in fact concerning the Prime Minister as well as the illicit aid, it means that the Integrity Commission is leaking like a leaky faucet, compromised and corrupt. And the Governor General will have to do something about it if Justice Seymour Panton, does not. The very idea that these people, Peter Bunting, Mark Golding, Dayton Campbell, right, is involved in this, and I have no doubt, because Dayton Campbell is speaking as if it's a party, something that they know about, the party itself. So how can the leader and the deputy leader don't know that this is what is happening? Who was it that went and got that information out of the Integrity Commission? Assuming that's what they did. These are the same people who corruptly undermined their own party, brought it to its knees in order that they can sit in the position that they are in. They will stop at nothing to get what they want. And if corrupting the Integrity Commission, they think in their mind going to put them somewhere, that is exactly what they intend to do. I am telling you, this man, Peter Bunting, is a threat to national security. This man here you're looking at is a threat to national security. And if I were the government or the government agencies, I would keep a sharp eye out on this one. Keep a sharp eye out on this one. You can't have this one loose and you don't know what he's doing. You keep a sharp eye out on this man. You don't need to concern yourself about him and his money. Your job is to keep an eye on him. Right? Assign a team to keep an eye on this man. And I can almost promise you, you will be rewarded. Because this man will subvert any institution. You can imagine if this is how he's behaving now. If the people of this country were ever fool enough to put them in power, what the hell he would do? Can you even begin to imagine? Then now, Dayton Campbell spoke about being busy preparing for the general election. Reasonable. And he points to what he called the government engineering of a by-election. Well, he has to say what he has to say because that's his job. It's his job to pour cold water on anything the government is doing, right? But let me see if I can put some enlightenment on it, or at least try to, because I'm happy for the opportunity that he has given me to make mention of this business of Matthew Samuda running in the now vacant Northeast St. Anne seat. Now, you will recall that Matthew Samuda was already selected to run in the seat whenever the election was called. Holness announced after Nigel Clarke's departure, or said he was going to depart, that he is going to restructure his government. Marcia Smith, who is a Minister of State and a parliamentarian, Member of Parliament for Northeast St. Anne, up and resigned with immediate effect. And Matthew Samuda up and resigned also from the Senate. Now, here's what I think. You see, it's not easy to get a member of parliament to resign their position. But this young woman, Marcia Smith, clearly was not enjoying being an MP because, sometimes you want something and when you get it, you don't know what to do with it, or you find that you don't like it. And so it struck me that maybe what we're looking at is a swap. She's a Minister of State. Yes, she's a Minister of State and an MP, but she's not doing well as an MP and she's not going to run back, right? They're not going to select her to run back in the seat. For some reason, Holness need Matthew Samuda to be in the parliament. Maybe. I don't know what position he's going to give him if it's the Minister of Finance. But what if what is going on here is a swap? Holness went to Smith and said, look, you're not going good. You know, we're going to replace you. And we're going to need that seat because we need to put Matthew in there now. No problem. Matthew is going to leave the Senate, which means the Senate is going to be vacant. And then what I will do is appoint you to the Senate. You don't have no pressure on you. You still will be the Minister of State. Now, that I could see could entice her to give up the seat if she's going to get the Senate seat and still remain as a Minister of State. You see my point? So that may well be what we're looking at, a swap. Now, in terms of, he spoke about the conditions in the country that he thinks warrants a new election. But I would hasten to say to Dayton Campbell that the conditions that are in the country now are the self-same, exact, precise conditions that were in the country before 2016 and for quite some time. People have been sleeping on the floor of hospitals, on chairs and in wheelchairs, and several of them have been dying. And it never started in 2016 when this government came in. It was there even when Portia was there, our beloved Portia, and it was there before that too. Andrew Holness, when he was coming and campaigning, told the Jamaican people the same thing that you are telling them now. The PMP can't manage healthcare. When you put us there, we will do this, we will do that, and so on and so forth. But as usual, like the Jamaican people, like a foolish woman, take the sweet mouth of the man and put Andrew Holness there. And now the same thing is continuing. You know why? Because at no time did Andrew Holness identify what the cause of people sleeping in the chairs and on the floor and so on of the hospitals. Never identified it. Simply said that he was going to do something about it. But never told the people what was causing it. So he's there now. He's there now. And whatever we do, we really must be fair. Finally, Andrew Holness, and his government has identified what is causing the problem. You know what is causing the problem? Dayton Campbell? Beds. Shortage of beds. And when we say beds, we don't mean to say the hospital has space, but the government don't have enough bed. No. A hospital is to be considered just like a hotel. When you're talking about a hotel, you talk about the 1,000 bed hotel, Rio Hotel, 1,000 bed Sandals Hotel. Yes. The size of a hospital is determined by its number of bed. So when the Spanish Town Hospital was built in the 1950s, it was a 200 bed hospital. When the other hospitals were built, there were X amount of bed hospitals. The Spanish Town Hospital, I think right now has 340 beds, a 340 bed hospital. So when those 340 beds are occupied by people who need them, it means that anybody else that is going to come in will have to wait either until somebody dies or somebody is discharged. And if you have 30, 40, 50 people waiting for a bed, they have to stay somewhere, and it is better that they stay in the hospital where if their conditions get worse, the doctors and nurses can come over and give them some assistance. But there's nothing else they can do because the hospital bed them full. So the problem of why people are sleeping on the floor and sleeping in chairs and wheelchairs is because the hospitals are full. So what is the solution? You need to expand the hospital. That's what you need to do. And create more beds, space. And I understand, based on Mark Golding himself, I didn't even know. Can you imagine government to do these things and not tell people? Yes, it was Mark at Rossi's, I think last year, told us that the government said they might expand the hospital and give him and creating more beds. But the funny thing about you though, Dayton, is that you are not telling the people that you are going to do any such thing. You are only telling the people that there are people sleeping on beds, and of course that's politics. And you think that that will get you somewhere. Good luck with that. You are now coming to tell the people of Jamaica that you want a general election right now because people are sleeping on the floors and sleeping in chairs and so on at hospitals. And you have not said, Dayton Campbell, you have not said what you intend to do about it. But let's leave that out. You have not even identified the cause of why people are sleeping on the floor. What caused it? What is the cause? Because until you know the cause, you can't solve the problem. And if you can't solve the problem, then what is the reason why the people must swap them for you? Because it will just be that them come in and them thief, them swap and put you in, and then you come in and you thief. Because you're not going to tell me say no thief you never go on. The labor rights them say PMP thief and PMP say labor rights thief. That's all. You need to come and tell the people what and why they must vote for the party. Why should they take out these people and put the PMP in power? You can't tell them that. But what you're doing, you're hoping by reporting the Prime Minister and other people on the JLP side for things you probably know that they're into, and them stupid enough not to do the same thing back to you. Yeah, them stupid enough not to do the same thing back to you. Right? You're hoping that now is what going to make the Jamaican people say, ooh, them are people are especially thief. I'm going to put your set of teeth inside here. Talk to me now. What is the policy prescription for the solution of Jamaica's problem? You're talking about agriculture is in a state, right? What you were going to do about agriculture in a state? Wasn't agriculture in a state? Is no agriculture has been in a state for quite a while. Since independence coming up, we have not been able to feed our people out of the land. We have been importing. You haven't told us how it is, or if you have any plan at all, to stop importation and what you're going to do. No, you want to hoodwink the people of Jamaica to put you in power because that is your objective, to get state power, but not to do anything for them. So why you want them to go and put you in? To create another unstable situation. Because up to now, you and the other traitors, them don't tell this country, whether or not you're going to continue with the policies that Portia and Peter started, that this government is continuing. We don't know if when you come, we'll go try one little experiment and mash up the economy. Right? It's the same thing all over again. But why should the people, having gone to the trouble of putting them there, put you back there when you are not coming with anything that is going to tell them that you're going to make them life better? They are going to feel in their own mind that may as well and continue with the man that them have there. So you want to engineer. You are talking about Andrew Holness engineering an election and a by-election, and you are trying to engineer a situation where the government would be forced to call an election. And you point out all the things and hope that the people forget that when you were there, the same conditions remain, not change, according to you. And if you are right, then what are you going to do to make a change for the people? Now that you're supposed to come tell the people. But you're preparing for election like hell, and you have no policy to come to the people with. So the people go and pitch out Andrew and put you in there now. And what do you think will happen to them lives? What happened to them lives? But you don't care about that. What you care about is finding yourself in Jamaica House. So you can thief too. So you can full up in a pocket too. Because if you're not there to represent people, you must be there for other reasons. So if you believe that you can just go on as you are, no policies, no plans, and you're just hoping that the government would overstay their welcome, and then you go and get the thing. You see, it's only a matter. Uno don't know Jamaican people, you know. Uno don't know history. Go ask the Englishman about history. Them over there with all them weapons and them bombs and them submarine and them this, that, and them afraid of we like puss. Uno not afraid of it because uno never see the wrong side of the people yet. This is the worst we have ever seen the People's National Party in. Worst position, worst condition, no plans, no policies, no programs, and uno hoping that somehow the fruit will just ripe and drop in on a lap. And uno think uno can take government in this state? Uno really think uno can take over government without any plans, without any programs, without any policy prescriptions, and just go sit down in there and no consequence would follow when the people realize they're not now going for them? Only for you? Of all the governments in Jamaica and administration, PNP or JLP, no matter how bad they were, no matter how bad the people would consider that they were, every one of them came in with some plan, with a policy prescription or two, right? And they had programs for them to introduce for the benefit of people. The people benefit along the way from any one and all of those governments. Not as much as they would hope, but they benefited. Uno not have none. But uno go. But you prepare for election. How you prepare for election and you not no plans? You not no policy prescription. You know, so it's a disaster uno heading for. So what it is that Dayton Campbell is telling us. Please remember to like the video, please. Remember to like the video. Give it a thumbs up. What is it that Dayton Campbell is telling us about the readiness of the PNP for government? He's telling us that they are preparing for elections, but they're not ready for government. That's the long and short of it. And this is where these people fight and carry on and undermine the party, them sabotage people in them seat in order to put themselves where they are and know that they're reaching, don't know what the hell they're doing. And we ended up with it's really a one party, you know. One party. It's one party, and that is not good for democracy. It is not good for our democracy. And those persons in the People's National Party who are supposed to be there to protect the integrity of the party sitting down and have these people destroy the country. Them fight them way into the leadership. And now them going to come and tell us that we're preparing for election. But we're not ready for government, because if you don't have no plans, where are they going to do? The ministries, the permanent secretaries are going to need to know what is the government policy so that they can instruct the people under them as to what to do. You don't have no policy. So just as how you all, the spokesperson all sit down there twiddle them thumb because them don't know what it is that them supposed to be talking on. There's no policy. I see him, so you think you can go in a government? Uno not ready. Uno not ready at all. You spoke about the government not holding a by-election in South Trelawney for 1 year. You sat in the parliament with that state of affair. What did you do about it? Did you organize the people in South Trelawney when you see the government not calling election and have them protest in order that they will have the opportunity to vote and have a representative in the parliament? No, you didn't do it. Because you're not about the people's business. You're not there to protect the people and the people's rights. You're there to feather your own nest. You are not there to protect the Constitution. No, that's not what you're about. You're about getting your hands on state power so that you can get your turn at the trough. You are not protecting the Constitution. You're not protecting the people's rights. So what useful purpose you serve? Anyway, I have come to the end of it. This has been certainly a rant. I don't think I've ever ranted before, but thank you so much for listening to me. If you're here until the end, my goodness, you're patient. And thank you so much for liking and sharing as well as subscribing. Until next time, take good care of yourself and walk good.